Good afternoon, everybody. Guys, welcome along to this Google Digital Garage training session, Optimize Your Ad Campaigns with Advanced Strategies. And also, we're going to be introducing local inventory ads as well. Guys, this is the third webinar in the series that we're running in collaboration with Retail Excellence. And we have two more coming up, so make sure that you check out the links in the description and register for the next two phases of our exciting series. Guys, I'm delighted to be here with you today. My name is Michael Knowles. I'm a trainer here for Google's free skills training program, the Google Digital Garage. So first of all, guys, a little bit about me. I'm an experienced digital marketing specialist and trainer, and my background is actually kind of right on the money with this stuff. I'm kind of interested in work in PPC, analytics, tracking, digital automation, and SEO. And I've been in the sector for probably just over 10 years now, and I'm delighted to be bringing this new exciting content to you. Guys, I'd also like to introduce my, let's call her a sidekick, or the goose to my maverick. That's Kirsty. Kirsty is my moderator for today's session. Kirsty's also a Google Digital Garage coach, just like myself. She'll be interacting with you guys, answering some of the questions that you might have in the instant chat to your right there. And you can identify Kirsty on the side there, just as there's a little blue spanner just next to her name. So Kirsty, just make yourself known to the viewers. Yeah, have some fun with Kirsty in the chat. Also, guys, just to let you know that at around 4 o'clock, I'm going to be handing over to Aisling. Aisling from the Pointy team at Google, who'll be talking you through a really exciting new ad format that I started actually looking at with some of the work I do as well. We're going to be looking at local inventory ads. These are really exciting and a really great opportunity for retailers on the high street in Ireland to kind of drive traffic and create some real excitement and buzz. So local inventory ads are currently in a beta mode launch in Ireland, and they're for retailers with a physical store. So they're a great way for retailers to kind of drive in-store products and get them in front of shoppers who are searching online. How exciting is that? Nice big change. Guys, some quick housekeeping points just to make sure that you get the best possible experience today. First of all, guys, if you're having any trouble at all with the quality of the video or anything like that, any trouble viewing the webinar right now, just hit refresh in the top corner there, and normally that'll actually automate and sort out a lot of the issues that you might have. If you would like to join the chat on the side, guys, you do just need to quickly create a YouTube account. It only takes about 10 or 15 seconds to do. So yeah, just hit the button on the side there. That'll enable you to set up an account, kind of have a bit of crack, ask some questions in the chat, interact with myself and the team, with Kirsty. Yeah, get points across, ask questions and so forth. Just to let you know, guys, that we are running this Google Digital Garage virtual training as part of a much broader offering of courses in collaboration with Retail Excellence. If you'd like to check out the full schedule of all upcoming webinars and trainings, please see the information in the description below, which links you through to our website. And feel free to kind of share your experience across social media, tell your friends, family, business connections, all about these webinars using the hashtag Digital Garage. Lastly, if you've got any feedback from today's session, please complete the feedback form, which is linked in the description box. Once you complete the feedback form, a link will appear later for you to download a PDF of all of today's content, and you're also going to be able to rewatch today's webinar on the Retail Excellence YouTube channel as well. So guys, that's the housekeeping done. Let's take a moment to get used to the chat functionality just on the side here, guys. So a little cheesy icebreaker just to kind of get things going. All right. So just to get you guys used to using the chat functionality, what I'd like you to do is just for you to take a moment or two, and I want to hear about what do you do currently to connect with your audiences online? Yeah, pop it in the chat, and I'll tell you what, guys, if you in the chat there, mention your business name if you want as well. And when Kirsty feeds them through to me, give some examples. I'll give you a shout out on here as well. It's just a kind of a good way to see who we've got with us today and how the different approaches that some of us take, the similarities in the way that we sometimes approach things as well. All right, start popping them in the chat, guys, and I'll read some of them out over the next kind of couple of minutes. Just while we're waiting for that then. All right. So this session is going to be split into 3 different sections. Okay, we've got the first part, which is about measuring moments that matter. All right. And the reason that we say measuring the moments that matter is it's not always just about one way of doing things. all businesses have very different goals. So there's never, ever one kind of shoe fits everything, and one shoe does not fit all. However, today we're going to look at different types of conversions that you can track to suit your business needs. All right. The next section is about understanding multi-touch attribution. When we get to this point, okay, you will notice that I'll get very excited because this is kind of my favorite thing to talk about and to help people kind of get their mind around in digital marketing. So, multi-touch attribution. So today we're going to discuss why attribution values give you a better understanding of how your campaigns perform. Okay, and shifting to a multi-touch approach can help you to optimize across a user's full conversion path. After all, we don't go online and buy things just from seeing them once. We need to understand that as businesses and as marketeers. Finally, we're going to look at how you take actions and take action from insights. So your attribution data is a very powerful tool, but it's only powerful when you actually choose to act on it. We're going to look at how you shift and look at multi-touch attribution models and how to use those insights to further optimize and have better, more informed decisions as well. So for things that you might use around bidding, focus, time and energy, and budget. So let's just see what you guys are saying in the chat so far. Excuse me, guys. So we've got Conlon Oils Athy is saying they use Facebook and Instagram ads to communicate with audiences. Awesome. Expert Hardware HQ, Facebook, Instagram, flyers, local newspaper adverts. Okay, so both online and offline. I like it. Kimmy M, Instagram only at the moment. Okay, maybe mix things up. Maybe try some other channels and identify if there is any other channels that would kind of communicate effectively with your audience. Great. Expert Hardware HQ again. Also, they use TV. Ashley Sheehan, Facebook ads, Google ads, and email marketing. Nice. Okay. Nice rounded approach. Ashro64 using Facebook and Instagram videos currently. Okie doke. Great. And finally, we've got Outdoor Adventure Store, and they are using social media ads, Google ads, and email. That's fantastic, guys. It's nice to see people using some and trying some different channels. What we're going to see here, okay, and what we're going to be talking about is predominantly around Google things. However, when we're talking about understanding multi-channel attribution, that's where I really kind of want you to turn on, and I want you to make sure that you've got your notepads ready. Because let's take, for instance, Expert Hardware HQ. They're using a lot of different moving parts there. Wouldn't it be great if we could truly start to understand what is driving awareness and what is actually creating and generating the leads? Okay, thank you so much for those, guys. Let's jump into the next section. So, customer behavior is driven by owning multiple devices. People can now research anything, anywhere, at any time online. Take a look at some of the stats. 79% of consumers use their smartphones for research before purchase. Would you agree with that? Pop it in the chat, let me know. I know for a fact that I do. I know my wife does. I know my friends do. I know my family do. Yeah, it's a funny one, is depending on the type of purchase that we're actually going to make, depends sometimes on the device that we choose to convert on and the device that we sometimes choose to actually look for a certain product or service on as well. 38% of customers moved between digital channels before purchasing. So they might have seen something on a blog, they might have seen something on a Google ad, they might have seen something on display, or they might have seen something actually on social media. Yeah. 60% of consumers say that mobile ads were actually influential in their purchase. What do you think of that? Would you say that they do definitely kind of influence your desire for something, your need for something, or the brand that you actually choose? 75% of people start an activity on one device but finish on another. One of the examples we're going to get to in a moment is about holidays, okay? But what I want you to think about, okay, this is one that I used to use when I was lecturing at university, is imagine that you were going to buy, I don't know, let's say car insurance. You know that it's coming up, so you start while you, I don't know, maybe it's watching the football, watching a film, in between the breaks, you just have a quick scan on your mobile phone. So you might start to research things, But before you purchase, sometimes maybe it's the next day, would you maybe go to a big screen on your laptop or desktop to complete the purchase? Maybe. And it's understanding that. These statistics show that understanding and leveraging mobile behavior is critical to being a successful marketer. We need to understand at what people are touching different devices, okay, and different marketing channels. So the customer journey can be long and complex, but not only across time, but as I mentioned there, across devices. Yeah, it's invaluable to have insights, and they'll start to emerge when you use attribution to look beyond just the final touch point of the entire user journey. What often happens, excuse me, is when I'm talking to clients is they'll say, yes, we've been looking at our analytics and we can see, I've been looking at our Google Ads or I've been looking at our Google Analytics, and we can see the marketing channel within our acquisition section as to which channel people actually tend to convert from. But they never actually look at kind of breaking down that multi-touch attribution model to be able to say, okay, yeah, but where did the journey start? Yeah, take a look at the one on screen at the moment. You might be searching for something, for maybe it's a little bit of inspiration. Okay, you might use one device, and you might be on your mobile. You then have a little look a bit deeper on your PC or Mac, and you then see something on a Google My Business of somewhere that does the product or service locally. Okay, and then you either buy on their website or you visit the store to buy. Sound familiar? All right. So, measuring moments that matter. What we're really kind of referring to here is measuring simply refers to tracking and measuring the actual user behavior itself. Because we want to know, as business owners or as marketeers, we want to know what parts of the customer's journey is supporting us to reach our business goals. Don't worry, we're going to go break it down a little bit further. All right. Okay. So we need to be measuring every moment that matters to your business. When you run ad campaigns, you want to see whether clicks on your ad led a customer to take a certain action. Okay. Now, those actions can differ from business to business, the ones that are important. Many advertisers, okay, and many businesses limit their definition as a conversion or a goal, okay, to just online purchases. Okay, but sometimes, guys, to get a more holistic, accurate understanding of the impact your online ads are having, you might need to track certain moments that matter to your business. A conversion is an action that counted when someone interacts with an ad, clicks on a certain part of a text, maybe clicks on a video ad, whatever it might be. But then they take an action that you've defined as valuable for your business. Maybe it might be an online purchase. It might be a click to call your business from a mobile phone, whatever it might be. Also, guys, conversions are measured with a thing called conversion tracking, which we're going to cover a little bit later in this session. All right. And it's vital that you get that set up. The reason being is a lot of people will have analytics or they'll have Google Ads kind of set up, and they might see an increase in terms of sales happening, but they can't actually attribute the success to anything in particular. Okay, it's a dangerous position to be in because sometimes you get anomalies. Sometimes you'll get seasonal influences, or there might be something situational, or there might be something within your town or city that's kind of driven that demand. Okay, there might just be something fashion, there might be something on TV which has driven that. But you need to know, was it your ad, which ad, what keyword, things like that. Okay, what I want you guys to do is, if you could just pop in the chat for me, is I'd love to know at the moment, guys, can you tell me what conversion types are you currently tracking? What kind of things are you tracking from online? You know, to give you some examples, just while we wait for a few to come in, is, are you literally looking at completed sales only? Are you looking at phone calls that have been generated? Yeah, are you looking at a few different types? Or do you want to put your hands up and say, we're not currently measuring any at all? Just pop them in the chat, guys. Let us know, and Kirsty's going to feed a few through to me just to kind of see what kind of flavor and what kind of mix we've got today. Remember, pop the name of your company in there as well, guys. More than happy to kind of give you guys a shout out throughout the session. So just while we wait, what we're going to look at next is the different conversion types you choose, okay, should be relevant to your business goals. All right. So now we're going to have a look at some of the different types of conversions that you might take. All right. Just wait a couple of moments there. No, good to go at the moment. That's fine. All right, okay, here we go. So Kirsty's just told me here, so we've got Conlon Oils, response to particular ads. Okay, so it looks like Conlon Oils, they're using maybe Google ads or Facebook or Instagram ads, and they've got the tracking set up so they can actually assess which ads seem to be kind of driving opportunity for them. Excellent. We've got Rory Keating. They're tracking sales and newsletter signups. Fantastic. Always great to kind of check that as well, the newsletter signups, if you're trying to drive people maybe into a longer stage sales funnel. Jennifer Timoney, sales, so direct sales made online. Outdoor Adventure Store, MailChimp signups. Yeah, again, all part of that kind of email campaign. Always really interesting to do. I'll just read one or two more out. Maxi Zoo Island. I've got to admit, I would love to go back to a zoo right now. Take my son there. He hasn't been to one yet, so maybe something to visit in the future. Ad interactions. That's what they're measuring. Ad interactions, website clicks, subscriber signups, and also calls. Fantastic, using quite a few different touch points. Karen Norton, N17 Superstores Electrical and Furniture. They're monitoring completed sales and noting the marketing source. So the sales are being tracked, but also you guys tend to actually take note of which channel it's driving them from. Fantastic. Thanks so much for popping them in, guys. So track interactions based on your business need. As we touched on before, guys, not all businesses have the same goals, okay? And so not all of you will need to track exactly the same conversions. Some of these have already been mentioned, as you guys did just there. But think about the conversions you currently track and ask yourself if they relate to your business goals. Where else is adding value to your business along that customer journey? Yeah, could it be actual online purchases, newsletter signups that we said, leads generally coming in? Okay, it might be by a form or whatever it might be. Is there certain pages that you might want to kind of assess? Okay, if you're driving them to certain landing pages, do you want to kind of know which landing pages are doing well, which ones are performing poorly, and so forth? Phone calls, always great, because then you can attribute directly leads coming into the business by phone. And users reached, always great to kind of see that, so you can start to see, is your audience changing over time? Guys, tracking a variety of conversions can not only positively highlight where things are working, but also let you know where you're actually losing customers. We went through this recently with a client who they thought that they were doing pretty well. Okay, they had quite a high ad spend. However, when we took over, okay, and I started looking at their accounts, one of the best things that I think I said to them is, yeah, there's a lot to tidy up here. We can save you a lot of money. And that's because there were certain errors, okay, and there were certain parts across the site where people were just getting lost. The user journey was too difficult. And people were just dropping off. The bounce rate was enormous once they got to certain pages, and the lack of interest once they got to certain pages, meaning that spend, that time and effort to, it's very difficult to capture attention sometimes. To get those people to those pages that you want, if they're not interested and you're losing them, are they ever going to come back? What we need to be kind of understanding from the data we have available is, why are certain pages doing well? And what are those pages? And why are certain pages doing really poorly? And what else could we be doing? Is it the imagery on the great pages? Is it the content? Is it the call to action that seems to be very, very good on those kind of well-running pages? What are the differences between the two? Because we need to start assessing them. After all, we all know that's what we're doing as marketeers. We're A/B testing or ABC testing all the time. There's many options. Some are more obvious than others, okay? But have you considered these? All right, so different types of conversions. all right? Cross-device activity, in-store conversions, brand perception, app downloads, in-app purchase, and post-return. Let me just talk you through them, all right? So tracking different types of conversion action gives you a really clear idea of what your business is actually working towards, and what's kind of working for your business, I should say. Think about what your customer journey looks like, okay, from that very first interaction, okay, with your brand to purchasing your product. Have you ever considered tracking these kind of actions? So things such as cross-device activity. With 26% of smartphone users in Ireland using 5 or more devices, devices tracking cross-device activity could be useful for you to know. Yeah, so that on average, people are kind of moving a lot between different devices before they sign up, before they buy, before they join your newsletter, whatever it might be. In-store conversions. So we've got a little talk coming up in probably around 35 to 40 minutes from Aisling, which is going to help even more with this stuff, okay? But shopping in store, okay, has remained important for Irish customers, when safe to do so, obviously. 54% of people surveyed back in 2019, okay, they said that they purchase in-store on a weekly basis. The overwhelming reason for that they gave, okay, was that they prefer to see and interact with products before they actually make that purchasing decision. As I said, later on, Aisling's going to be talking about local inventory ads, okay, which are an ad unit created specifically to bring shoppers who are out and about back into your stores. Essentially, further tying together the online and the offline kind of channel. The next one, guys, is brand perception. What do your customers actually think of you? What are they saying? We all know word of mouth is as strong as ever, okay? It's just changed slightly, word of mouth across social media, all right? But you can actually track your brand being mentioned, okay, with keywords and phrases. Yeah? One of a nice tool actually that we looked at a little while ago is there's one called mention.me, where you can look for yourself, clean up your own kind of LinkedIn profiles where you might have been mentioned. Mention.me is quite good. There's a few other ones out there. We used to kind of use them when I was at a university a while back. Just something to play around with and kind of check how people are kind of mentioning you. Yeah. The other thing that you can do as well, actually, if you haven't already, check out a thing called Google Alerts. It's something if you've already got a Gmail kind of profile, or you can just go onto Google and type in Google Alerts, and you could actually set up your own brand name as an alert. So every time it gets mentioned, you would actually get notified and you'd be able to see it. Yeah, you could get it on a daily basis, weekly, whatever you want. But what we're talking about here is more about that brand perception. Okay, being able to understand and track from social media or wherever it may be, has your brand started to get mentioned more and more often because of the marketing efforts that you're making? What about app downloads? Excuse me. Are customers interacting with your brand through an app instead of your website? Wouldn't it be cool if we could kind of track that and assess that in the same way? Okay, next one is in-app purchases. How many purchases are actually going through your app? Does this compare favorably or unfavorably to the amount of actual app downloads? Again, a very useful thing to be able to kind of measure and understand. Finally, post-return. So first, why did the person return? And second, did the person convert the first time they came to us? And if not, how can you convert them and make sure that they're more likely to convert the second time they visit your site? Now, keep in mind, even if someone didn't convert as a new visitor, you made enough of an impression with them to get them to come back and consider you a second time around. There's so many different conversion types to actually track, all right? Tracking a variety of conversions, let us see things such as like which keywords, which ads, which ad groups, which channel, which campaigns are best at driving the most valuable actions to your business, and where on the journey you might need to spend and take a little bit more care and attention. Excuse me, guys. So, fortunately for us all, Google have got some tools available to make tracking a hell of a lot easier and a little bit easier for us to kind of read and digest. Conversion tracking. All right, so let's start getting into the nitty-gritty. Conversion tracking is a tool that shows you what happens after a customer actually interacts with your ads. Conversion tracking starts with you creating a conversion action in your Google Ads account under, it's just at the top, under Tools, Settings, okay, and Conversions. And a conversion action is a specific customer activity that's valuable to you as a business. And you can use conversion tracking to track the actions we've been speaking about earlier on. So website actions might be purchases, signups, other actions that customers complete across your website. Maybe they look at certain page views and link clicks. It also might be whether they've installed an app, taken actions within the app, and that can be on Android or iOS mobile apps. Yeah. Also phone calls. Phone calls are always going to be vital. It's one of the first things that we do with a lot of our customers, just to make sure that they're effectively tracking those. So calls directly from your ads, or calls to a phone number that sits on your website, okay? And if someone clicks on it on their phone, okay, directly from your mobile site, we want to be able to kind of track that information. All right? So customer activity that begins online but finishes offline, such as when a customer clicks an ad and submits a contact form and later signs a contract with you in your office, okay? That's a little bit different, but you're still going to be able to kind of maybe import that data at a later date, okay? As you can see on this screen just here, let me just bring it up to this side. So you can import data from Google Analytics or another source, okay, at a later date to be able to help you assess and make informed decisions whether they've converted on the website or converted offline. It's a really clever little change. So measure online leads through offline conversions. So you can measure online leads through offline conversions now, okay? User clicks on an ad and then and arrives on the site, okay? Whether a user submits a lead or a form, okay, whether they've used one of the kind of Google generated auto kind of collection points, and it might be passed on to your store and to use in your database. All right, it might be that the lead or the sale is entirely closed offline, okay, but what's easy about it, as I said, is using one of the data files such as CSV or an API plugin. You can actually upload offline conversion data to really help you kind of get a better, more informed decision across the success of your Google Ads and your analytics. Excuse me, guys. So next we'll be discussing ways in which we can shift to use multi-touch attribution. But before this, I'd like to know if we've got any questions, okay, coming up from you guys. All right, we've got just a moment or two, which I'll stay here for. Remember, pop the name of your business in. This is your chance to kind of, if there's anything which you want me to retouch on or any kind of questions about your business and what you're doing, let me know. If we don't get enough time here, guys, it's not a problem. We've got another Q&A break coming up in a few minutes' time, and with Aisling, we'll be having another Q&A session as well. So don't feel as though you need to wait for these at any point. Any questions, just pop them in the chat, and me and Kirsty and the team will do our very best to answer as many as we can. Okay, so I don't think we've got any questions from any of the viewers right now, so that's fine. Don't be frightened, guys. This is your opportunity to have two Google Digital Garage coaches answer as many questions as you want. In my sessions, guys, I always say, there's no stupid questions here. There's no stupid answers. We're all kind of here to learn. And I guarantee if you're thinking something or unsure on something, there's going to be at least one or two other people thinking the same thing. All right. So pop any questions in and let me know. Okay. This is the time that I said you need to get the notepads out. Okay. This is when we start to get into some really cool, clever stuff. This is when we're going to start actually dissecting and kind of really getting into that multi-touch attribution. I find it exciting. I am a bit of a nerd, okay? But this kind of stuff can be game-changing at times when you're kind of assessing your online marketing efforts and things. So what's an attribution model? So an attribution model is the rule, okay, or set of rules that determines how credit is actually assigned to different touch points along your user's conversion path. Which conversion action holds the most value for your business? Yeah, start to think about it. Now, understanding where to actually assign the value, okay, of success is really going to help to fuel your business growth. We've developed a variety of different attribution models in the Google Ads, okay, that are going to help to understand the moments that actually matter to your business. I'm going to come up with an example in a moment about the holiday, okay, about booking a holiday. But I want you to start thinking about, what was the last big purchase you made? Okay, what different things did you do before you purchased it? Okay, or signed for a service or whatever it might have been. Okay, because how many times did you look at it on your phone? Did you discuss it with your partner? Did you look at it on your work PC while you're on a break? Did you look at it at home on your tablet? Okay, in between, I don't know, the football being on or a film. Start to think about it. Okay, how did you look at things and when? So before we go any deeper into that, let's take a look at how an attribution model can be helpful to your business. Here's the example. Have you ever booked a holiday in one sitting on one device? Now, I'm going to ask you to pop this in the chat quite quickly, okay, because I would love to know if anybody can tell me, have you booked a vacation? I know it might have been a while ago, I get it, okay. Have you ever booked a vacation in one sitting? I know for a fact that I haven't. For me, it tends to be more, I either have a bit of a crazy idea, or I'll just be kind of thinking somewhere that I might want to go. I'll start to research it. I might discuss it with the boss at home, maybe discuss it with a friend, and then do a little bit more research when I'm meant to be working, discuss it with my wife again, and then we'll probably book it together at a weekend or something like that. Let me know your thoughts. Have you ever booked a vacation in one sitting? If you are, I want to meet you because you sound like you would be a great person to hang out with, really kind of spontaneous. Yeah, but I guarantee it doesn't tend to happen. So your booking process might actually look a little bit more like this. So Expert Hardware HQ, they're saying definitely not, no. Camilio, is it Camilla Kyo? Never. Rona, clearly never. Office Master, no, definitely we haven't. And Rosie Boyles is saying never. Yeah, you're exactly like me, guys. I'm not that spontaneous. I try to be, but there's no way that with something like that I would kind of roll the dice. I would feel as though I need a bigger picture, and need to kind of have lots of bits of information before taking the plunge. Now we've got Ashley Shane saying yes. So if anyone knows Ashley Shane, okay, she's definitely going to be the person to kind of be around and maybe go out with and maybe spend some time with, because she sounds as though she's going to be fun and spontaneous. I like that. Okay. So, and majority of the time, okay, your booking process might look something more like this. Sunday morning, whilst you're lying in bed having your tea and toast, you start to search on your phone for a week in Italy. Yeah, you start to scroll through a variety of kind of blogs, travel blogs, holiday blogs, and holiday websites, just for that little inspiration. Nothing really in mind, just looking to kind of get the creative juices flowing. Okay, maybe leave it a couple of days. All right, Mondays are never good for a lot of us to kind of make decisions. Tuesday morning, during your coffee break, okay, you start to Google bed and breakfast in Naples. Now you start seeing hotels and you start seeing some deals coming up. That's okay. Coffee break ends, you go back to work. Wednesday evening, whilst watching videos on your tablet, you see an ad, okay, for a hotel that you actually quite liked the other day when you were looking, and that's on the Google Display Network. You know, the ads that seem to come up at relevant times? So you take a little look at that and you kind of, okay, yeah, this looks like a good deal, actually. I might talk to my friend or my partner about this. Friday morning, you search again for the hotel that you liked, but this time you look for the specific dates that you would love to go away on. And this is the point when you might feel as though you're ready to book. So this is just an example of one basic kind of customer journey, but I'm sure that we all can kind of relate to something around this and think about the number of steps that are involved in the process. So when looking at this purchase path, where do we actually give the credit to? excuse me, guys. Yeah, which part of the conversion path should we actually give the credit to? Is it this part over here? The point where you actually booked? Is it over here? Or is it in the middle? Which part of the process should be kind of assigned the true value and why? Pop it in the chat. Pop it in the chat. Before I kind of go on to the next screen, I would love to know your thoughts here. Which part of the booking process should we be kind of giving assigned marketing value to? Let me know your thoughts, guys. All right. I'll wait for a couple of points to come in, guys. So the first click introduced you to the business, didn't it? First click. This was the start of your journey. This is when we start to kind of find out a little bit of information. We start to kind of get the creative juices flowing and start to have a few ideas. Yeah? Okay. However, but the last click was the final interaction before the purchase. Now this, the majority of the time when I'm dealing with clients, this is the part that they only analyze. Okay, they only tend to look at this and think, okay, well, a Google ad, okay, or a display or a social media ad, yeah, but they're converting a lot, okay, and they're driving a lot of the actual conversions and sales. The middle clicks influenced your decision though, didn't they? Yeah, they started to kind of, confirm, okay, the locations that you were looking at. Start to kind of nail it down and shrink all of the choices that you have, okay, and take away some of the bad ones. So should we assign any value there? Attributions help to connect all of these, okay? They help to connect the dots to make it easier for you to understand and act on these purchasing journeys. Once you understand your users' paths and start to identify which interactions yield conversions, you'll be able to actually invest more money and time into those interactions. So let's use the holiday as an example. Say the advertiser notices that many vacation bookers use their mobile, okay, on the go to learn more about vacation destinations. They could then decide to invest a hell of a lot more, okay, in mobile, whether it's through adjusting bids or maybe improving user experience of their mobile website. You need to look at the different points that are part of that consideration journey. So, sorry guys, won't be a moment. So attributions lead to business growth. All right. As we've seen on the path to conversion, customers may do multiple searches and interact with multiple ads from the same advertiser. Attribution models let you choose how much credit each ad interaction gets for that conversion. Attributing different values gives you a better understanding of how your campaigns perform and helps you to optimize across the entire flow of the user's conversion path. It'll help you understand the true ROI, the return on your investment, and therefore be able to make more informed decisions about where to allocate more ad spend and budget. Yeah? So understanding the different areas of attribution. So when we're thinking about attribution, there's three things that we need you to think about. Understanding cross-device activity, how people move between different devices, from watching on looking at their PC and consuming content there, on their tablets, on their mobile phones, or even on the TVs at times, okay? Understanding intra-channel activity, okay, and how people interact with a single channel such as Google Ads across campaigns and keywords. User behavior across campaigns within the same channel, okay, for example, search advertising, generic search, branded search, paid search, and things like that. All right. The final one is understanding multi-channel activity. So how people interact with all of your marketing channels. So a lot of you guys were using a lot of these, and you said that you were using Google Ads, you're using social media ads, YouTube, things like that. Yeah, to be able to kind of understand that multi-channel touch point, we can start to kind of better understand what's bringing people in, what's forming part of the decision process, and where they're actually converting. Excuse me, guys, got a tickly cough there. So, benefits of search attribution. Google Ads has its own attribution tool. Available to all Google Ads users. Once you've set up an account, you'll have access to the tool. It makes it easy to compare and select a different model. So you can use model comparison reports to compare how different attribution models impact the valuation of your various marketing channels. Cross-device attribution. So you're going to be able to look at cross-device reports, which give you the tools you need to organize the data across the multiple devices into one cohesive piece of analysis. It means that you're going to get a much better idea of how maybe seemingly unrelated touch points at the moment, okay, are actually connected. So you might see we're getting a lot of clicks from desktop, but we don't tend to get a lot of conversions, but we get a lot of conversions on mobile. By changing the attribution model across device attribution, you might be able to start to see some changes in that. And I guarantee that the numbers 99% of the time will be just a little bit different, but it's still worth paying attention to. Personalized to your business. So when integrated with your Google Analytics, which is the first step that I would ask you to do, and we're going to discuss that a little bit later, you're going to get a great kind of understanding and great visibility in your Google Analytics as to all of the marketing channels that you have, okay, where people kind of touch, whether it's email, whether it's social, Google Ads, it brings all of that data together. Yeah, so changing your attribution model is relatively straightforward, and we're going to touch on that in a couple of minutes to get you ready and make you feel as though you are prepared to flip the switch, turn it on, change the model, and start kind of digging that a little bit deeper. So it also integrates seamlessly with auto bidding to use that newly kind of attributed data for overall conversions. So if you're using auto bidding on your Google Ads platform, it will set up and it'll work very, very well with that. So Google Ads offers several different attribution models. The models available are last click gives all of the credit for the conversion to the last touch point before someone converted, okay, or the last corresponding keyword. First click gives all of the associated credit for the conversion to the first click in the user journey and that corresponding touch point on keyword. Linear distributes the credit for the full conversion equally across all ads and interactions on the path. Time decay gives more of the credit to the ad interactions that happened closer to the actual conversion point. Credit is distributed using a 7-day half-life. In other words, an ad interaction 8 days before conversion, okay, gets half as much credit as an ad interaction 1 day before conversion. So it keeps on kind of getting smaller and smaller. Position-based, all right? So with position-based, it gives 40% of the credit to both the first and the last interactions and their corresponding keywords, with the remaining 20% evenly distributed across the conversion paths in the middle. And finally, data-driven. This is one of the exciting ones. Distributes credit for the conversion based on your past data for this conversion action, and it's different from all of the other models, okay, because it uses all of your account's data to calculate the actual contribution of every interaction across the conversion path. This is only available to certain accounts with enough data in, which we'll touch on in a moment. Excuse me there, guys. So, last click and first click. Okay, last click and first click are single touch point models, okay, and they only assign a value to one single touch point. Models that assign full credit to a single touch point don't account for the multiple interactions across a customer's full journey. Changing your attribution model from last click to data driven will help you to determine which part of your ad, okay, and which part of your user journey are most impactful. Okay. So data-driven attribution it's a customization and customized model that uses clever AI and machine learning tech, okay, to use all of your historical data to start assigning the appropriate values across all of the touch points. This really is the ideal kind of solution for us all, okay? Data-driven attribution is different from any of the other attribution models in that it uses all conversion data to calculate the actual contribution they had of every ad interaction across the full conversion path. Yeah, but each data-driven model is specific to each individual advertiser. So it works for your business. It's not a one-size-fits-all. The data-driven attribution, oops, sorry guys, just moved across the screen there. The data-driven attribution looks at all clicks on your Google search ads by comparing the paths of different customers who've converted to different paths and customers who don't. The model identifies certain patterns among those that led to good conversions, good quality conversions, good numbers of conversions. Okay, and there's always going to be certain steps along the way that have a higher probability of leading a customer to complete a conversion. The model then gives more credit to those valuable ad interactions along the customer's path. Basically meaning a lot of the stuff that you would have to do manually where you're making adjustments to try and work which pages do well, which ads do slightly better, which terms do better. This is going to start to actually power it for you. And this means that when you're evaluating your conversion data, you'll see which ads have the greatest effect on your business goals. And if you use an automated bid strategy to drive more conversions, your bidding will use this important information to help get more conversions for your money. Now, as we mentioned a little bit earlier, data-driven attribution requires a certain amount of data to create a precise model for how your conversions should be attributed. Because of this, not all advertisers are going to see data-driven model in their Google ads. All right. As a general guideline for this model to be available, you must have at least 15,000 clicks on Google search, and the conversion action must have at least 600 conversions within 30 days. Okay. If you do have those, you'll start to see those appear. Now, choose a multi-touch point based on your business goals. Time decay will work really well for conservative growth strategy. It gives more credit to ad interactions that happen closer to the time to the actual conversion itself. Linear, moderate growth strategy. It distributes the credit for all of the conversion, and touch points equally across all ad interactions. Position-based, aggressive growth strategy. It gives 40% of the credit to both the first and the last touch points and ad interactions and the corresponding keywords, with the remaining 20% spread out across all touch points in between. So non-last click attribution drives better performance. So we ran a sophisticated econometrics study isolating the impact of switching to Google Ads attribution. Okay, and actually what was quite nice and quite clever about it is what we saw is on average 5% of overall conversions we saw a 5% overall improvement in conversions at a similar or lower cost per acquisition. Yeah, and that was using non-last click attribution definitely does drive performance. That was the kind of key takeaway. So some of you guys, you might be using Google Ads quite a lot, and it might not be something that you've seen before. Okay, so how do you actually get there? Well, it only takes 2 minutes to actually set up. Okay, if you head into Google Ads, okay, and then head to Tools along the top, Tools, Settings, and then Tools, go to Conversions. Okay, and then just at the bottom there, you can see Edit Settings. Okay, default settings will just be aligned for everyone, but you can go in there and you can actually make some changes on there, which you'll find very, very useful. Okay, guys, we're going to pause for just a couple of questions at the minute, just to see how things are going. Let's just see if we've got any questions. I think we've got one or two. So, a question from Ashley Sheehan. We created a new app, and I looked up setting tracking of the links through Firebase on Analytics. Is there an easier way to do this? I'm not too sure if Kirsty's already answered this or not. So we created a new app and I looked up setting the tracking of the links through Firebase on Analytics. No, funnily enough, is the way you've actually done that is probably the way that we would do that. Now, depending on where the app is, okay, and where it sits, you might actually be able to use something like maybe something like potentially Tag Manager to be able to kind of create some touch points within the app behind a CTA button or something like that. But to be honest, is the way that you've set that up sounds as though it would probably be the best way. It's a little bit laborious, unfortunately, doing it, but it sounds as though you may have actually done and chosen the right kind of tech to get that done. Okay. Robert Harris, what steps would you recommend for monitoring goals? So monitoring goals, again, whether you use Google Ads solely or whether you set up your goals within Google Analytics, I would probably choose that you do them in Google Analytics, okay, and then drag them through to Google Ads. And to set them up in a relatively straightforward way, if people land on a certain URL as a completion or thank you page, makes it very simple. If it's a phone number, you can input that. And for more information, you can either go to the Google Digital Garage site, and we've got a couple of different modules around setting up goals in Analytics and also on Tag Manager as well. All right, guys, let's get moving into the final set of slides. We're doing well on time, got about 5 minutes before I'll be passing over to Ashley. So, important part, take action from the insights. So this is what we were talking about before. Linking your Google Analytics property, okay, to your Google Ads account is going to allow you to actually analyze customer activity on your website after an ad click or impression. To link your Google Analytics and ads, it's very, very simple. Okay, there's two different ways. You can sign into your Google Ads account, click on the tools icon, okay, in the top corner, and under setup, click on linked accounts. And then under Google Analytics, just hit details, okay, and it'll ask you which property you actually want to kind of bring in. To link Google Ads and Analytics, you will need administrative access to both the Google Ads and the Analytics account. Same for unlinking an existing Google Ads account, you will again need administrative access. Additionally, only Google Ads accounts are eligible for linking with Analytics properties. The other way around of doing it is you can go into your Google Analytics account and you can, I think it's under acquisition, and you'll be able to see Google Ads pop up. When you press on it, there's a little box in there that says link, okay? And you'll be able to do it that way, or you can go into settings. There's a few different ways to do it. So your attribution data is only powerful when you act on it. Remember, your new data, okay, that we're talking about here, about different attribution models is only good, okay, and only useful when you decide to do something with it. Yeah? Adjust your new attribution model. Changing your attribution model alone does not change the performance. So start to rethink time ranges to analyze the data. Use appropriate time ranges to suit your business goals. Standard, okay, 30 days is a kind of minimum and a kind of a recommended time allowance. When selecting the date range for your analysis, a good rule of thumb is to exclude the most recent few weeks to avoid any kind of effect of time lag between the click point and the conversion. So maybe use something a little bit further back. Google Ad reports conversions according to the date, okay, of the ad interaction. So since a non-last click attribution model shares conversion credit between multiple interactions, each of which happened at a different point in time. So the time lag associated with your campaigns reporting may potentially increase. As a result, you might see kind of a temporary slight dip in conversions for very recent days after changing your attribution model. All right, so keep an eye on that. Definitely revisit your bids and your budgets. If you change your attribution model, okay, you need to go and start having a look to adjust your bids and targeting for each conversion point, okay, including the conversions column. Otherwise, the change in conversion attribution might actually result in over or potentially under kind of value bidding. So make sure you keep an eye on that when you change your attribution model. If you do want to use manual bidding, performance shouldn't really kind of be impacted by the one way or the other until you begin to kind of optimize based on your new data. Excuse me. So, multi-touch models often reveal a shift in credit. After you change your conversion actions and attribution model to a multi-touch model, what you should actually expect to see, you should start to see some changes to your campaigns and reporting. Once you've started to transition to a multi-touch model, okay, it's very common to see a shift in credit towards mobile devices, which tend to be at that little bit further up the kind of marketing sales funnel and potentially for non-branded keywords. You might also start to see fractional credit, all right? Credit given for a conversion which is distributed between some of the contributing kind of ad factors and ad interactions, okay, according to the selected attribution model that you chose. As a result, you might start to see kind of decimal points, 0.35, 0.5 in your conversion columns for the first time. Yeah, so just an example, if you were using linear, okay, the user path might have a couple of keywords, so therefore the value kind of associated to each would be 0.5 if there was one conversion. Hope that makes sense. Making budget decisions. So multi-touch attribution should always impact where your budget actually goes. In this time decay model that you can see on screen, okay, clearly generic paid search is a priority because it generates a large portion of the revenue, so it would make sense to start to reallocate that budget. Because of the better, more accurate data, however, that multi-touch attribution modeling provides, you can then reprioritize, reprioritize campaigns, okay, and see significant improvements there. The simple point here is, once you have the new data, you've got to do something with it. All right. Final one, guys, just as we're running low on time, I'll just see if we've got any questions at the moment before we pass over to Aisling. I will be a moment, guys. Nothing at present. Keep the questions coming in. Me and Aisling have got a wrap up at the end as well. So just to summarize, guys, make sure that you measure moments that matter to you. Okay, make sure that you start to understand the different multi-touch attribution models that are available and have a look at the data. Okay, but don't just look at the data, take action from the insights. Make sure that you've connected it to your analytics account and start to use the data, okay, to drive smarter, more informed decisions around budget, targeting, and budgeting decisions and bidding. All right. Okay, guys, so just for the moment, thank you for listening. I'm going to pass you over to Aisling from Pointy from Google, who is now going to talk to you about a new type of idea in beta launch in Ireland around local inventory ads. Over to you, Aisling.
That's brilliant. Thanks so much, Michael. I was learning a lot there, so that was great. And hi, everyone. So yeah, as Michael mentioned, I'm here today to introduce you to local inventory ads. And these are due to launch in Ireland very soon. So my name is Aisling, as Michael mentioned. I'm a marketing associate with Pointy from Google. Just a small bit of background on me. I've been working with Pointy for a little over 3 years now, and we were acquired by Google in early 2020. I suppose, funnily enough, I first heard about Pointy from seeing a Pointy sticker in the window of one of my local pharmacies here in Dublin. And I just looked up the product to see what it was, liked what they were doing, and I suppose the rest is history, and here I am. So, but yeah, I'm just delighted to be here today to introduce this new ad feature from Google called Local Inventory Ads. And as Michael mentioned as well, so these are new to Ireland, and they are in a beta launch at the moment. So I will go through this further on, but if you would like to run local inventory ads when it launches, just please contact support@pointy.com after this webinar, but I'll go through all that further on. So what will we be talking about today? So there's just 3 main points that I want to talk about. So firstly, why it's important to target online and offline shoppers with your ads. Secondly, then, I will introduce you properly to local inventory ads and what they are. And lastly is how you can use Pointy from Google to run your local inventory ads in just 2 clicks. So just to note that when you can use your Merchant Center account to set up local inventory ads when they're available, but I will be focusing on setting up these ads with Pointy. And the reason for that is just it's a much easier process for merchants who do want to get more shoppers into their physical store. So let's kick off then by talking about just the importance of advertising both to shoppers who are offline and who are online. So although the pandemic has accelerated digital adoption, and we have obviously seen online sales growing, it is actually expected that most purchases will still be made in stores by 2024. So as you can see here, 78% in store versus 22% online. So the research shows that, retailers who have a strong digital offering will gain additional sales in the next 5 years, even if the customers do choose to buy in store. So this really emphasizes the importance of a seamless and integrated retail experience across online and offline. So I suppose the opportunity, to physically engage with customers in the real world is just one of the many things that gives physical locations a competitive advantage. So I know this past year hasn't been easy in any respect for non-essential stores who have had to stay closed for the vast majority, but we are by no means giving up on the in-store shopping experience. So, for impatient shoppers, the stores still rule. So nearly 80% of shoppers will go to a store to buy when they have an item that they need or want immediately. And, we're seeing that shoppers are increasingly demanding and impatient. A stat to back this up, I suppose, is that global searches for in-stock have grown more than 700% year over year. So shoppers favor the in-store experience for that immediate gratification. And here's where we're going to see, availability and local convenience really coming to the forefront. So as you can see here as well, 61% of people say they prefer to shop a brand with a physical store. So shopping in physical stores, it's more emotional, it's more social, it's more connected. And I suppose shopping in physical stores allows people to just try stuff on, understand the real look of a given product, and, just get a clearer sense of value. And also then on the retailer side, it allows retailers to get direct feedback from your customers, just by chatting to them. What do they like? What do they not like? These are kind of things that, they mightn't send as, say, feedback on an online forum or something like that. So yeah, with my job, I suppose I talk to a lot of our Pointy retailers, and speaking to one man whose name is Neil E. Jarrist, and he has a homeware store. He's US based, has a homeware store. He actually has 3, I believe. Opulence of Southern Pines, and he put it very well. He said, for a store like ours, customers like to come in, have a nice experience, smell all the fragrances, and that is why shopping in a local store is so engaging. So as you can see here, shopping locally has become even more important to people this past year, and searches containing available near me have more than doubled globally since 2019. So, how do you reach these near me shoppers? And traditionally, it has been difficult for retailers to reach these offline shoppers. And that's where these new local inventory ads can really just step in and help out. So, local inventory ads, they allow you to advertise online to bring shoppers and really drive traffic into your physical stores. So they are highly visual, intent-based ads. They show up prominently on Google for product searches. For example, here you can see on the right-hand side for cat toy near me, and you can see the local inventory ads appearing at the top there. And as we said, these local inventory ads, they are currently in this beta launch in Ireland. So you could be one of the first retailers in the country to use them. Again, as I say, they are available to set up through your merchant center, or they will be when they launch fully. However, I am here today to introduce these ads as a feature of Pointy and just show you the ease of setup if you do choose to run them through Pointy. So firstly, let's just talk through, exactly what these ads are. So as I mentioned, local inventory ads are very visual product ads. They show the name of the product, an image, and useful store information. One big thing to note about these ads is that they are only available to retailers with a physical store. So you won't be competing with big e-commerce giants. And as I mentioned already, they are intended to bring more people to your store. So this is kind of just bridging, offline and online. So shoppers can start a search on a device and then be directed into a nearby store to purchase the product. I suppose in thinking about this, I started thinking that in all honesty, the first thing I do when I'm going to or want to purchase a product is a quick Google search just for where it might be available nearby, so whether it might be, an ingredient for a recipe that I already have on, it's already cooking, so I do need it like ASAP, or indeed I'm just being one of those impatient shoppers, as we mentioned earlier in the presentation. I simply can't or don't want to wait, a week for it to be delivered to my house. And here, if I can see that the item is available nearby, I'll very happily pop out and get it there and then. And this is, again, going back to that kind of sense of instant gratification. So these ads allow you to get your products in front of more shoppers that are like me. And they are particularly useful for that, as they can show a little annotation that says how far you are away from the product. So you can only see how useful that would be for shoppers. So I would now like to walk you through an example of a Pointy retailer in the US who is currently using local inventory ads. So over the next few slides, we'll see how Knutson Lumber shows up in a search result for a product that they stock. So a shopper searches for Black & Decker drill in Ellensburg in Washington. And then here you can see the screen they will be presented with. So there you can see Knutson Lumber's local inventory ad appearing third from the left with the name of the store and the in-store annotation along with the price of the product. So when a shopper clicks on the ad, they will be brought to a Google-hosted storefront where they can see all the information they need in order to go into the store and to complete the purchase. So again, they'll see, a stock estimation, price again, the store phone number, and possibly most importantly, they'll be able to see directions on how to get to the store to complete the purchase. So how do you tell a local inventory ad from other shopping ads? So as you can see here, the pin signifies a local inventory ad. And local inventory ads show in-store annotations or the distance to the closest store, and again, this just helps consumers to make their purchase decision. So where can these ads surface? So they can show up in Google search results, as we saw with Knutson Lumber, with their Black & Decker drill, and they can also show up in image search results as well. And again, what happens when a shopper clicks a local inventory ad? So I know I touched on this a bit in the example, but I just wanted to go over it a little bit more detail. So when they do click one of these ads, shoppers are directed either to a Google-hosted local storefront or a merchant-hosted landing page. So the Google-hosted local storefront is automatically created for you, and it shows, product information such as price, if it's in stock, and then shoppers can call your store or get directions to come in and complete the purchase. So just a note here is that if you do want to send shoppers to an e-commerce site as a merchant-hosted local storefront, please do use your Merchant Center account to set up the local inventory ads when they launch fully. And you can then send shoppers to a landing page of your choice that way. But for retailers using Pointy and running local inventory ads through Pointy, the default is the Google-hosted local storefront, just as it encourages those in-store sales. And that's all what we're about, is driving traffic to the physical store. So here then, you can see how local inventory ads and shopping ads work together. So generally, we want people to be able to complete the sale, in a way that makes sense for them. So local inventory ads will trigger for nearby product searches, where available and relevant. Otherwise, shopping ads will trigger. So local inventory ads and the local storefront, they are intentionally designed to capture all shopping moments, with an omni-channel user experience. So LIA or local inventory ads can drive effective online impact as well as bringing traffic to your stores. So as you can see here, local inventory ads report 20% higher click-through rate than an online shopping ad. And local inventory ads and product listing ads drive 3.5% the incremental store visits, and then using text ads alone. And local inventory ads then on top of that are 2.7 times higher than the product listing ads. So I guess just to remember that if you already have a product listing ad campaign running, Leah can just be an extension of your existing campaign. So they can work together seamlessly to support online and offline shopping. So if you're already running campaigns, I would recommend you to go to the Merchant Center account to set up local inventory ads once it launches fully. However, if you're not running ads right now, or your inventory changes often, then Pointy is a great way to run them. We do a lot of work on your behalf, and therefore the setup is just very, very simple, and I'll bring you through that now. So, Pointy is a service which allows you to get your products onto Google. So I know some people on this call may already use Pointy, but I'll just briefly explain how it works. So Pointy creates a product feed. So as you scan your items, we then submit this to Google. And in turn, these products have a better chance of being displayed in relevant results on Google. And as I say, the feed is powered just by you scanning the items as you sell them at the register. So we receive the barcode number as you scan them, and then we source an image and description to match that product and upload it for you. So questions that often come up, I suppose, are how does Pointy actually work? Or does it work for every store? So firstly, just to point out that as part of our COVID-19 response, Pointy is available at no charge for all eligible stores in Ireland. So that's the core service is available at absolutely no charge for these eligible stores here in Ireland. So we'll just go through the criteria for eligibility. So firstly, it's that you use a wired barcode scanner or that your point of sale is integrated with Pointy. And you must use UPC or manufacturer barcodes, as this is how we source the product information. So you can imagine, say if I have a store and I buy in my products and I'm scanning away at the manufacturer barcodes as I'm selling them, Pointy then can say, great, we know what that barcode is associated with. Here's the picture, here's a description, and that gets uploaded. But for example, if you had a store and when you get your products in, you either make your own store SKUs or your own barcodes or something like that and put them over the top. Obviously, our systems just won't know what those numbers are in relation to. So they're obviously going to be unique to your store. So unfortunately, we won't be able to upload those products. So you must be using the manufacturer barcodes. And the last one there is just that you do have a physical brick and mortar store. So people can visit to complete the purchase. So that's our main goal, is to get people into the store to complete the purchase. So, whether your store is waiting for the go-ahead to reopen or you're classified as essential, now just could be a great time to think about increasing your online presence. If you're currently closed, I guess Pointy can help you get your products on Google once you open up again. And again, as I keep saying, just as you start scanning, and then we'll get those products uploaded for you. So here's a list of our target verticals. So Pointy works for stores across many, many different verticals. So we have, from homeware to hardware, toy store to pet store. I won't read them all out. And as I mentioned already, all you need is to have a physical store location, use a wired barcode scanner or compatible point of sale. And again, the products that you stock are using the UPC or manufacturer barcodes. So just here, I just wanted to show what does the local inventory ad setup look like with Pointy. So as I did mention at the very beginning, this is in beta launch. So for anyone on this call who wants to get started, firstly, if you're already using Pointy, please just reach out to our support team, send them an email at support@pointy.com, and just to register your interest in Leah. And secondly, if you're not using Pointy yet, once you get signed up, which I'll give you the link at the end of this, again, please just shoot across an email to our support team to register your interest in local inventory ads. So this is what the normal setup will look like once it does launch fully. I just wanted to show you, how quick and easy it is. So thankfully, we've done an awful lot of work on our end to make it as easy as possible for you to get up and running with these ads. So the first step is to install Pointy on your point of sale. Again, as I've mentioned, we have two options for how you can do this. So if you use a traditional point of sale, you can get one of our Pointy boxes, and that just connects between your barcode scanner and your point of sale. So it just sits on the line there between the two. Or if you use a smart point of sale that is integrated with Pointy, you can simply just download the Pointy app. So after that, simply just scan your products as normal. And then scanning the products creates this inventory feed that you need to run ads. And then the second step is the price feed. So if you are using a Pointy box, you simply just upload a spreadsheet of your UPCs and your prices to your Pointy dashboard. And this will be via the link to Google or see what's in store feature, which I'll touch on slightly just on the next slide. And again, for integrations, so if your point of sale is integrated with Pointy and you just downloaded the app to install, this step, the price feed is completely automatic. So as there is a feed between your point of sale and Pointy, you don't need to do this. And then the third and last step is to simply set a budget and a location around the store that you want the ads to run. Again, you can do all of this right on your Pointy dashboard, and that's it. So you're all set, and the ads will be created. So just to mention, I know I said briefly about the linking to Google in the spreadsheet upload step. So this is actually part of a feature which is called See What's in Store that comes with the core Pointy service. So See What's in Store is actually also launching very soon in Ireland. We're really excited to bring this feature here. As you can see on the screen now, so when someone searches for a product or a store near them, they then see the business profile on Google. And with See What's in Store, you can actually display your in-store products right there on your business profile. So, you know, we all now know the customers are researching stores and products before making the trip. So you'll remember those near me shoppers we mentioned at the start. So this is a great solution to show them what's available in your store. So just a note on this one as well is while linking to Google with See What's in Store is a step in setting up your local inventory ads, and running ads is optional. You know, some Pointy retailers will just link to Google and add their products to their business profile. So back to our local inventory ads. So these ads are charged at a cost per click basis. So again, you only pay when someone actually clicks on your ad. And what we've seen so far is that sometimes shoppers won't even click the ad, as they'll be able to see all the information they need right there from the ad itself. And I think, you know, one common misconception that I've definitely seen is that, you know, people think maybe running ads is just incredibly expensive. However, you know, with Pointy, you can run ads for as little as €3 a day. And the best part is that when you do sign up to Pointy, you'll receive €100 in ad credit to try out these local inventory ads. So, you know, as I mentioned, that all you have to choose is the budget and the geo target around the store that you want the ads to run. So say, do I want the ads to target people, you know, within 5 kilometers or within 10 kilometers, within 15 kilometers of the store? So this, you know, ad credit just allows you to test out those things at the start to see which works best for your store. And just a note to remember, as I did say earlier, you know, these are in beta launch, so do just contact our support team after this. So everyone who signs up to Pointy will get access to their own personal retailer dashboard. So here you can see, you know, useful information such as the amount of products currently on Pointy, your Google search impressions and visits to your page. And then in terms of ads, you will be able to see data on how your ads are performing on your dashboard as well. So here you can see data such as, you know, the number of people who saw your ads, your most popular items, and the searches that led to your store. And all of this is, you know, it's presented in a very easily understood and digestible way. You know, we're very aware that retailers are incredibly busy people and they wear many different hats. So we wanted, you know, anyone to be able to click into this page and see all the information that they need. And here you can then see a close-up image of the data on your dashboard. So as you can see, you can choose the time range for the data shown, whether that's 7 days or 30 days, entirely up to you. And then you'll be able to see how many people saw your ads, the number of people who clicked on an ad, the number of ads running, and the cost. You can also then see the exact products people were searching for and the searches that led them to see your ads. So I guess, Pointy is built for simplicity, but seeing the data on how shoppers found your store online can prove just very valuable. So having spoken to, some of our retailers, everyone uses this data slightly differently to suit their needs. So I do like to use, case studies to illustrate exactly how Pointy benefits our retailers. So again, all well and good for me to tell you the benefits. However, it's much more powerful coming from one of our retailers who is using the service, day in and day out. So Health and Food have been using Pointy for 3 years. So Katerina, her co-owner Colin, and Mojo, their dog, they were first-time shopkeepers who had previously actually worked in the music business. And they're now well established in their small town in Wales. And Katerina joined Pointy in 2018, and she uses it as a way to increase their product's reach. So with a budget of £5 a day on these local inventory ads, and you can see here that she has over 1,200 products uploaded to Google, and then a very impressive 1.5 million Google search impressions. So what she had to say was that Pointy has been a massive help to us in this past year. It seems lockdown has people turned both to the internet and to local shops at the same time. So being able to have a product-led Google presence has really increased footfall for us and people generally knowing that we are here. So as a food shop, we've been able to stay open throughout lockdown, and having Pointy in place already has been one of the many serendipitous details that has helped us do really well out of a difficult situation. So if you would like to get started with Pointy, please do go to pointy.com/try. And then do just be sure to email support@pointy.com to, let them know, should I say, that you would like to get up and running on these local inventory ads. And then anyone who is already using Pointy and wants to register their interest in these new local inventory ads, again, please contact our support team and they will be able to help you. So I think now we will move over to see if we have any questions. I know Lisa's been moderating there in the chat, so unless she's done all the work. So here's a question here. Why use local inventory ads if already using text-based ads? So I suppose, you could nearly see local inventory ads as an upgraded ad format. So, they're much more visual, as the picture of the product is right there. And I suppose it can show that the item is in stock in a store nearby right now. So this is really going to help the shopper to make their buying decision.
I think what's nice about it, Aisling, as well, is the fact that, like some of the stats showed, that people actually prefer to go in the store as well. They prefer that experience. So I think it's a fantastic change to be able to bring people back into the stores when they can.
Yeah, for sure. And I know then, I think there's a few other questions here. So let me just have a look. Yeah, there's a few questions then. So what is the advantage also of setting them up via Pointy instead of your merchant center? So what I'd say for this one is, the real advantage is simply just the ease of setup. So retailers can find it tricky to get the feed data. So the inventory feed has historically been the most complicated part of the onboarding process. So with Pointy, we create that feed for you as you scan your products, so you don't have to worry about that one anymore. And then you just have to submit the pricing via the spreadsheet. So I think that's the main advantage, is just the simplicity, and you needn't worry about that inventory feed. And I think that might be it for the questions. Lisa must have done a great job moderating in the chat. And I'll pass it back then to you, Michael.
Thank you very much, Aisling. Aisling, I've got to say is I think some of the features in the Pointy tool are fantastic, and it's nice to see, between the changes that were made with Google My Business and then with this Pointy, great to see kind of the way that we're starting to be able to link online and offline now to help kind of small and medium retailers. I think it's fantastic. Thank you. So guys, thanks very much for spending your afternoon with us today. Thanks so much for everyone tuning in, all of the great questions that we've had, some of the great points kind of raised as well. We've covered a hell of a lot in today's session. So I just wanted to kind of flag what we would encourage you guys to kind of do next. So one of the steps that we'd love you to definitely look at is to check out the new Google for Small Business website. This is kind of a one-stop shop for all of the right tools and resources for your business, from getting set up online, an online success guide. We also have the digital toolkit and tips for dealing with COVID-19. All right. On there, you're going to be able to understand and get a kind of handle on how to show up on Google, create and improve your website, reach more customers, kind of expand your audience, and also build loyalty and work effectively kind of from anywhere as well. Our moderator will pop a link into the chat in a moment, just to kind of show you guys where you might be able to go. I hope that function's working right now. If not, guys, you can just go to google.com/small business. So, as I mentioned at the beginning of the session, guys, if you're interested in more training from us here at the Google Digital Garage, there's a few ways that you can continue your learning. We're running many more Google Digital Garage webinars in a variety of subjects, again, in collaboration with the Retail Excellence. If you'd like to check out the full schedule of all webinars we have coming up, please see the information in the description below and get yourself booked in. Guys, if you'd like to share your experience on social media to tell your friends, your family, business connections about the webinar that you've been on today or any of the webinars that we have coming up, please do so via the hashtag Digital Garage. Plus, if you want to carry on learning in your own time, if you go to the Google Digital Garage website, we have a variety of training courses which are available for you at no cost, available 24/7. Finally, if you have any feedback about today's session, please complete the feedback form linked in the description box below. Once you've completed that feedback form, guys, a link is going to appear for you to download all of today's content, and you're also going to be able to rewatch the full webinar on the Retail Excellence YouTube channel. Guys, thanks so much for joining us today. Thanks to all of our moderators. Thanks to Aisling from the Pointy team. Thanks to Lisa, and also thanks to Kirsty and Kim for doing a cracking job today. It's been my pleasure presenting to you and talking you through something that I'm very passionate about. See you again. Have a great afternoon, and we'll catch you again for another Google Digital Garage training session. Have a great afternoon, guys. Bye-bye.